Mr. President, Excellencies, we come together at a time when it can seem difficult to find appropriate words to describe the depth of suffering in Darfur. The humanitarian position has reached an intolerable state. Hospitals, humanitarian convoys, and other civilian objects are apparently being targeted. Famine is escalating, and humanitarian aid is not reaching those in dire need of it. People are being deprived of water and food. Rape and sexual violence are being weaponized. Abductions for ransom or to bolster the ranks of armed groups have become common practice. And yet, we should not be under any illusion. Things can still get worse. Our office has closely tracked reports in recent weeks of the current position in North Darfur, following attacks launched by the Rapid Support Forces and its affiliated groups on its capital, El Fasher, and the IDP camps of Zamzam and Abu Shuk. Mr. President, Excellencies, on the basis of our independent investigations, the position of our office is clear. We have reasonable grounds to believe that war crimes and crimes against humanity have been and are continuing to be committed in Darfur. This conclusion is grounded on the intensive activities that the office has been undertaking in the last 6 months and in earlier reporting periods. In this work, we have relied on documentary, testimonial, and digital evidence collected and analysed by the office. In the last 6 months, these activities focused in particular on crimes committed in West Darfur, and they have included repeated field deployments to refugee camps in Chad to engage with victim communities and to conduct witness interviews. These field missions have provided crucial testimonial evidence for the Darfur Unified Team. Further engagement and strengthened cooperation with the Sudanese government authorities, including a recent deployment to Port Sudan, generating additional leads and identifying important witnesses relevant to current atrocities being committed in Darfur. Our activities have also included securing an enhanced cooperation framework with the United Nations fact-finding mission in Sudan under the UN-ICC relationship agreement that will serve to accelerate cooperation in support of the investigations. And we have also deepened our engagement with civil society, with Darfuri diaspora and victims groups, including through the provision of support in enhancing their documentation efforts towards accountability in Darfur. Based on these efforts and drawing on the over 7,000 evidence items collected to date, the Office of the Prosecutor remains focused on delivering concrete landmarks so as to respond to the legitimate and impassioned calls for justice heard from victims and survivors. I wish to emphasize to this Council, to the victims we work so closely with, and indeed to all our partners, that the situation in Darfur is of the utmost importance to the Office of the Prosecutor. We will not be deterred until meaningful justice is delivered in a way that serves to vindicate the rights of those who are suffering and impacts the conduct of perpetrators on the ground. Our previous efforts towards justice for Darfuri victims have led to the case against Mr. Ali Muhammad Ali Abdurrahman, also known as Ali Kushaib. The upcoming decision in his trial, expected in the second half of this year, will, we hope, provide an important example of what can be achieved when we work together in this common effort. And I wish to be clear to those on the ground in Darfur now, to those who are inflicting unimaginable atrocities on its population. They may feel a sense of impunity at this moment, as Ali Kushaib may have felt in the past. But we are working intensively to ensure that the Ali Kushaib trial represents only the first of many in relation to this situation at the International Criminal Court. However, we also have a duty of confidentiality to the court. I am not able to share more details of the nature of our progress or of specific outcomes hoped for. I can only assure you that the progress we have made is concrete, positive, and significant. Mr. President and Excellencies, I am particularly deeply troubled by the extensive victimization and suffering of women and children in this conflict. Our investigations will not be complete until we are able to hear and document before the court the lived realities of Darfuri women today. We are giving gender-based crimes a focus and attention that requires a sensitivity to the taking of evidence from victims and survivors and a clear understanding of the intersectionality of the discrimination that has led to such crimes. We have worked for years on building our own capacity to hear these stories and to recognize the intersectionality of ethnicity, religion, gender, and age impacts on the effectiveness of our evidence gathering and on the quality of the evidence that we are able to present to court. We are building trust with these brave Darfuri women and girls who are able to tell us their stories. And their stories are consistent with the accounts of suffering by women and girls in successive United Nations reports, including those heard at the Human Rights Council. There is an inescapable pattern of offending, targeting gender and ethnicity through rape and sexual violence, which must be translated into evidence for the court and indeed the world to hear. These alleged crimes are being given particular priority by our office as we proceed with focus in our investigative work. With the support of our dedicated Gender and Children's Unit, we are undertaking a range of targeted activities aimed at increasing the visibility and the results delivered in relation to crimes that continue to be underreported and insufficiently recognized.